Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. Now, the last few episodes have all been about the science points. As you can see there, we've got 98 of them, so we'll probably be spending some of those this episode. But our money's dwindling. We had a few parts that disappeared from the game. I don't know whether it's my fault or the game's fault or what. But we're really low on the money, and I was expecting to be able to recover those parts. So, there's a few things we're going to do. First things first, we're going to try and get this. We've got one last contract to sort out. It's not going to make us much money, but we need to do it. Now, I looked at the video to try and figure out what the errors were. I don't know what happened about that. But whilst I was there, I noticed I did actually achieve enough altitude and enough speed just for a split second, just for a tiny second. But I don't think we should try and complete this contract right now. What we should try and do is go back and do something else to get us some money. So let's go over to the mission control. Now at the minute we have that one contract, maximum of 2 at the minute. We've got these 2 visual surveys which I was thinking about. But I was kind of figuring, let's orbit Kerbin. Why not? You know, I reckon we could probably do it. Stable orbit, higher than 70,000 meters. It's incomplete. We've got it never expires, so even if I fail to do it, we should be okay. We get 14,000 advance and then 60,000 on completion. That's fantastic. Let's do that. Bam. Challenge accepted. Right, now we need to build a vehicle that I think might be able to reach it. Okay, so for the first time in a while, we're going to be starting with a brand new craft. So here we go. Let's put the Command Pod Mark 1 in. Beneath that, let's get some fuel. I kind of want this smaller fuel tank as well. So let's go purchase that. There we go. So we've purchased that. We haven't got a lot of money. Let's just really fuel this thing up. I want quite a lot of liquid fuel on here. So the T100 is half the size of the T200, the T200 is half the size of the T400. There's not really much difference between them. The masses work out about the same. The amount of fuel that they hold work out double each time. So really, I suppose technically what I could do, if I wanted to, was to put a T400 on and then a T100 on. The only difference I think is the cost. Yeah, it works out a little bit cheaper. See, a single T100 is 250 and a single T200 is 425, so you'd get a 75,000 sorry, not thousand, a 75 credit saving there. I don't want to buy that extra 400 tank at the minute. We ain't got the spare fuel, so we are going to do it like this. There we go. So that's the amount of fuel I want to take with me. Let's put an engine on that now. The 909, a very efficient engine indeed. Let's move this up a bit. I'm not going to put any science on this vessel because we're purely going to be trying to get into orbit. That's what the contract's for, achieve orbit around Kerbin. And any science stuff is just going to make us heavier, and we don't want that. I'm not going to put a parachute on the top here because this is going to be a very heavy thing to land. What I might do is put a couple of landing struts just to cushion our landing, maybe. But then it is going to topple over if I do. Oh, I don't know actually. If I put 3 landing struts on there. There we go. And then 3 parachutes. That is almost certainly going to be fine. I'm fairly sure. Quite fairly sure. Yes. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do. So that's our main vessel pretty much done. We probably want to be able to fire that parachute on a separate stage to the booster. Sorry, not the booster, the jobby at the bottom there. What we need now is boosters though. So let's put a structural piece here. And a solid fuel booster. That should give us quite a bit of height. Let's bring the craft up a bit. And then we want another separation. And both of these parts are probably going to fall away very quickly from the craft. So I'm not bothering with parachutes on these. And then I think the Rocker Max, that can go on there. Now, I'm basing this design off a design that I saw from Scott Manley. It's not always... It's not very often I go find something that somebody shows me how to do something, and then I go copy it. But in this instance, I've done that a little bit here. The combination of the Rocker Max, the Rocker Max down here. We're going to limit the thrust to 50%. That's what he did. So I'm going to do pretty much the same. And then we've got the solid fuel booster, these fuel tanks, and the 909. The difference in the design here is that with his, he had some science bits on there. I think are these landing struts? Let's see, utility. Are they massless? No, they do have a mass, but it is a very small mass nonetheless. He didn't use landing struts. I think he was planning on landing it probably in the water. We may or may not have a choice where we land our craft. To be honest, it'd be quite nice to land it on the North Pole and do some science there. At least we could probably do an EVA at the bare minimum. The only problem is we wouldn't be able to get back in the craft. However, if we could land it near the Kerbal Space Center, just in the water, that would also be good. So maybe we'll attempt to do that. Landing struts. What do we think to the landing struts? Let's keep them for now. It can only... I mean, it stops us rolling if we land on our side as well, so whatever. We need to name this craft. This is going to be our Orbiter Mark 1, and we need to check what crew we've got in here. Now, whoever we send up may get an experience point, so it has to be a pilot, I reckon. Mundok, you're our primary pilot now. There you are. You get in the craft. How do I do this? Save, open. Right, now let's go back to parts. We'll save this craft. Oh no, not load it. Cancel. Save the craft, and I think that's it. I think we might be able to make orbit with this craft. We'll have to see. Let's go to launch. Okay, we're on the launch pad, and before we go any further, I need to check the staging on this. So we've got a separation and engine at the same time there. That's fine. Engine and separation at the same time here will be fine. And then our engine at the bottom. I think that's going to do us that's going to be completely fine. I'm going to now just slip ourselves into SAS mode with on. Let's check our map. We want our nav ball up. We're going to be trying to get into an orbit, so this is probably the first time we've got a decent bit of mapness about the whole situation. Let's head back, get our resources up, and there's nothing left to do but Mundok. Let's launch. We're not going anywhere. Oh, why are we not going anywhere? Oh, something's wrong here. Something is very, very wrong with this craft. Some setting or something's messed up. We are not going very fast at all. What on earth is going on? Solid fuel, fuel flow, thrust. What? We barely took off. We're barely accelerating. I have no idea why. What? Oh, this isn't good. I got something very, very wrong here. Back to the drawing board, I think, folks. Okay, so I just referred back to Scott, and I think I got confused with this booster down here. It shouldn't be limited. I've been watching way too many YouTube videos, and my mind's a bit of a mess. So let's get this back out on the launch pad and see if we can actually get this into orbit this time. We've got enough money just about. Right, so attempt number 2, SAS on. We'll get that throttle up in case I forget. I prefer to have it up rather than down. Let's check our fuel. You see I've taken the monopropellant out of there. There's no need for that. We don't have any RCS. So now with everything set the way I think it should be, let's try and launch. That's better. That's a better launch. I'm hoping to get to around 4,000 or 5,000 meters with this one. And I'm gently going to bring it over. Not much though. Well, halfway through the burn, this is better. We're at 2,000 meters. Properly going now. Just tapping that D key just to gently bring us over. Only ever so slightly. Hopefully, Mundok can be the first Kerbal in an orbit. And as soon as this one goes, blammo. Next stage, full throttle. Excuse me on my voice there. My voice is disappearing today. Just trying to keep the ship nice and stable. It's going to start coming over naturally as it's following that parabola, and then I don't know if we want to be full burn on the throttle. I think we do for the 909 that we've got there, and straight away, no messing, 909 full throttle. So we have got quite a lot of fuel here. Mundok's in the command pod. We're getting up quite high now. The air's going to be getting thinner, and I'm just following our trajectory. As we go over, I'm keeping the craft pointing in that trajectory. I want to make it as big as possible. Some mountains in the background there that we'll go visit later. Oh, just over banked slightly. And when we get over to about 50 degrees, I need to start thinking about looking at the map. We'll have a quick look at it in a second anyway. Let's have a look. Here we go. So here's the map. Our orbit is tiny at the moment. We're not even in orbit. It's just a little loop. But we'll get there, hopefully. We're at 42,000. That's not too bad. In fact, let's just stick here and keep an eye on it from this perspective. 45,000. If I click that, does it continue to stay there? No, it doesn't. Oh, we need to bring our ship over. Follow that orbit curve. We've just gone past the 40 degrees, coming up to 30 degrees now, and when we hit that full 90 degrees, we will be going quite well. Our fuel not even half gone yet, so we're looking good at the moment. 57, 58. Now this, for the contract, needs to be above 70, and we need to get into that orbit at 70. We can't just go up to 70. There's 60. We're chasing it now with our craft. We are quite some velocity now. Come on, we can do this. Chasing this all the way up to 80. I've over-rotated ever so slightly. I'm going to bring that back. The electrical charge is starting to go. I've got to be careful with that. But it does get topped up, I think, as you're using your engine. I'm not sure. Just got to be careful. This is where most of it's going to be using, though. 66,000. Getting there. As you can see, our orbit is also increasing in width as well, which is good. If we chase in this marker, and now I'm just going to let it climb. 69. And it has to be above 70, so I'm going to try and get it to 75. Two, 3, 4, and 74.5. I've just creeped over there too much. Let's throttle it back up. Press the wrong button. 75. There we go. Right. Now we need to try and get this into an actual orbit, and then we need to try and get everybody back again. So I'm going to wait just a few seconds until we get to that, the Acropolis there, and we're going to try. I'm going to focus on Kerbin now, and we'll be able to see the orbit extending out. So no maneuver nodes. We haven't upgraded our tracking station, so we have to do this manually. Electrical charge looking okay. We're trying to keep the craft fairly stable, bearing in mind the SAS uses a small amount as well. So here we go. We're getting close to it now. I don't know how long the burn's going to be, but I think it's getting close to the point where we're going to be doing it by the looks of it. Gonna start the burn any second now. Right, we're burning. We're burning. We're keeping this orbit going. So we're pretty much on the mark now. As you can see, here it comes, and BAM! That's it. We've got a notification. Contract completed. We've got a massive cash injection on the rewards there. Some science and reputation. Let's bin that for now and enjoy being up in space. Oh, let's go back out of the map mode. Here we go. Here's our capsule. Here's our vessel up in space. Over the water at the moment. Now, because I haven't upgraded anything in the Space Centre, I'm unable to do EVAs and all that sort of thing. But we were in so much desperate need of money that we had to do it. It had to be done. Now, we haven't got a lot of liquid fuel left, an oxidizer. I didn't have a perfectly... now, I wonder, could I get this into a higher orbit? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we need to try and just be reasonable about this situation. Let's do a crew report all the way from up here. We get 5 science for that. Let's keep the data. We're alright for science at the minute. It's money we need. It's money. So we need to now plan our return. Now we've done this contract. Now, let's go back into map mode. As you can see, we're rotating round. Now, where is the Kerbal Space Centre? Where is the Space Centre? It's there. That's it, there. Right, so on the... roughly the opposite side of where the Space Centre is, we want to kind of... I kind of want to land in the water just outside of it. Kind of over here. That'd be quite nice. But then the planet's rotating as well, so we kind of need to aim for the middle of this body of water, I reckon. Let's fast forward now with some time dilation. Now, we can only go at this speed, up to 50 times speed, when we're this close to the planet. If we want to go any faster, we'd have to go to the tracking station. But to be honest, this seems alright at the moment. So, this is going to be a complete and utter guess. And I'm hoping we've got enough fuel to actually get back. I'm fairly sure we have. It's a very efficient engine at this rate. Right, let's slow down there. And let's turn our craft round. Oh, we don't have to turn it far, though. Yeah, it should be pointing in the opposite way of its orbit now. So let's just check that. So you can see now it's travelling around to the right and our engine's pointing that way. So let's throttle that up with the map mode on. And we'll see if we can bring our orbit back down again. So throttle up manually. You see it's decreasing. We've got fuel okay at the moment, but we're going to stop there. Whoa. Well, with the rotation of the planet, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to make the water or not. We will see. We do have a little bit of fuel left, so we could make some adjustments as we get closer. So let's just run that now, get a little bit closer. As you can see, the craft... Let's... hang on a second. The planet is rotating way too much, so I'm going to check the electrical charge. Electrical charge is fine. Let's rotate the craft round. There we go. And I feel like it's going to be way too much. So let's just throttle that up a little bit. Whoa. Right, let's see how that goes. Let's increase time a little bit and see how things go. We want the two things to meet. The closer to the space program we get, the more money we get for recovering the vehicle, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. Get as much money from this mission as possible. Now, the rotation of the planet is very slow. I'm not sure we're going to have any problems here. But let's just reduce the time dilation and head back to the Space Center. Your game cannot be saved at this point. Leaving flight now. You'll abandon the mission. No! Oh, is it because we're lower than so many thousand feet? Okay, let's resume the flight then. We'll have to do it with this sort of time dilation, this acceleration. Looks like you can see the orbit. Now, it's not the planet that's rotating, I don't think. I think it's the orbit's decaying. And it's going to decay quite badly at this rate, so perhaps we should do another burn to try and increase that again. So here we go. Let's use some more fuel. Throttle to the max. You see, there we go. You see it's still decaying quite badly, and I think that's because we are getting very low. Right, tell you what, more throttle. There we are. 12, 11, 10 units of fuel left. We are starting to come through the atmosphere now, I think. Let's just nip back quickly, see what we've got here. Yep, here we are. Look, the vessel is starting to go through the atmosphere, returning SAS off. And that atmosphere is going to slow us down tremendously, and we're probably actually going to crash into the mountains. Which I'm not surprised about, because in Scott's tutorial, almost exactly the same thing happened to him, but we're now free falling. We've got a tiny fraction of fuel left. The difference between us and Scott is that we've got 3 lots of parachutes, he had 1, and we've got landing gear, he had none. So we'll see. Now, he did have science experiments on his craft, so he was able to get those science experiments up there. It would be nice to visit the mountains. We haven't been there yet, but I want to take a science trip there, really. Not just this vessel that was designed to give us a little bit of money. So, we're at 16,000 meters now. It's we can deploy the parachutes. We're not going to make it all the way back to the Space Center. It would be nice to get as far as possible. So, what we'll do is, just for the last little bit, let's try and get it on the land over here. Let's turn the SAS on, bring the craft into a semi-upright position. If I can remember the controls, let me get this way round. Is that right? Yeah, there we go. There we go. And I'm just going to give it some upwards thrust in sort of that direction. Try and not land on this coast. So, max throttle for a couple of seconds. We ready? Go! 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and spent. Now, I think that extra little puff did give us that extra little bit of sideways momentum there to get us over the shore. Now, I'm not going to deploy the parachutes just yet, because doing so will slow our sideways momentum, I believe. It's a possibility we're going to land right on that ridge, but which would be quite bad. We're getting quite close now. I think we're going to have to deploy the parachutes. Okay, parachutes out. Landing gear out. I think we're going to be right on the edge of the coast here. I thought we was going to get a little bit further inland with this, but here we go. Any successful landing, any safe landing will do for me. As Mundok comes down as the first Kerbal to orbit the planet. Right, a little bit of time acceleration. I keep calling it time dilation, and I suppose if it was a negative time dilation, it would be time acceleration, maybe? I don't know. I'm not a physicist or whatever I need to be to know what that means. Right, or somebody who knows a lot about words either. I don't know what our height is, so we're going to have to use our shadow as a gauge as to how high we are above the land. You can see it reeling in there. The land isn't completely level, it is on a slope, so there's a chance we might fall over. But with this wide gear spread, I think we should be okay. So let's just... We're getting close now. Minimum. And... touchdown. And we are going to fall over ever so gently and slowly. We should be okay. There we go. Well, unfortunately, we fell over with the crew hatch facing down, so that's no good at all. We're just going to have to recover this vessel and head back to the complex. And here we are back at the complex now. So we got a crew report. While in space, that was worth 5 science. Recovery of a vessel that returned from orbit was 10 science, so that was actually worth more. We got a load of parts back, and we got 91% of the value. Not bad at all. And what else did we get? There was no monopropellant, no liquid fuel left, and no oxidizer left. We used all that. And of course, our hero, Mundok Kerbin, is back. Right, that's done. We still have that one contract which I failed to do last time, but we'll sort that out sometime soon. And we've got science points to spend. So I think the last thing we're going to do today's episode is spend these science points. Let's go have a look. Now, I want to make some sort of orbiting satellite. For that, I'm going to have to get electronics because we need these solar panels. And I'm going to have to get flight control because we need the Stay Putnik. Now, I don't know if I can afford both. Quick calculation says I can afford both. So let's get them and see what I have. So let's research that. And let's research that. Now, that's researching flight control has given us access to unlock aerodynamics, which looks quite cool. It's given us access to advanced flight control, which gives us the RCS, which is even better for making space stations and stuff. A little bit far ahead from what we are at the moment. And unlocking electronics has allowed us to look at precision electronics, which gives us the thermometer, which could be a good one to unlock, but it's 90 research points, which we haven't got. We've got 8. Advanced electronics, what does that give us? Electronics. Oh, it's locked. It says cannot research technologies over 100 science. So, that is our boundary. We should probably research all of this sort of stuff first before upgrading the research centre. But that will be all from that port there. We're going to have a look at maybe getting this satellite up this time. And I've got a couple of next time. And I've got a couple of contracts in the list in mind that we might do. So, let's head back to the space station here, and I'd like to thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the episode, remember to give it a like. If you haven't, and you want to use that dislike button, it is there, but I would appreciate a comment as to why you didn't like the episode, and maybe we can help me get even better than I am now. But for those of you who did enjoy the episode, thank you very much for watching. I've been Master Hellish. I will see you all sometime soon. I'm quite happy with that, and I would like to say thank you very much, Scott Manley.